Some people feel like home. Some people feel like pressure. Some rooms settle your system. Some rooms make your body start preparing before anything has even happened. And for a long time, you may have thought that was weakness. But maybe it was not weakness. Maybe it was signal. And maybe frequency 2 was never about learning how to feel more. Maybe it was about learning how to listen without getting lost in what you feel. This is Human Velocity X. And this is Frequency Exchange 2, from signal to system. Welcome back to Human Velocity X, a space for awareness, movement, identity, and the quiet work of becoming honest with what our own system has been trying to tell you. My name is not important. The message is. And if you are here, you are already listening for something, not just outside you, inside you, because a reasonaut does not move through life only asking, what happened? A reasonaut learns to ask, what did I notice? What did my body know? What did my energy tell me? And what did I do with that information? This is Frequency Exchange 2, a place between movements, a place between frequencies, a place to pause long enough to notice what happened while you were busy listening, to look back at Frequency 2, navigating the signal. Episodes 8 through 11 were not here to make you more sensitive. They were here to help you recognize what your signal had already been carrying, the people who feel like home, the truth you overthink because you already know, the danger your body senses before your mind can explain it, the cost of being self-aware. Not separate subjects, different doors into the same movement, the signal. And that signal did not speak from only one place. Sometimes the mind was trying to organize it. Frequency 2, navigating the signal, was where awareness began to move. Now, take a breath. Sometimes the body was trying to warn you. Sometimes the heart was trying to show you why it mattered. Different channels, same movement. The signal. Frequency 1 was where awareness began to wake. And now, before we step into Frequency 3, navigating the system, before we talk about systems, roles, expectations, pressure, performance, and the environments that try to shape, we need to pause at the bridge. Because it is not enough to hear the signal. You have to understand what the signal is asking of you. Not every feeling is truth. Not every fear is wisdom. Not every warning is danger. Not every peace is permission. But every signal deserves to be noticed. That is where we begin. Not to prepare, not to perform, just to arrive, in and out. Let your body remember where we have been. Frequency 2 was not here to make you more sensitive. It was here to help you become more honest with what your signal has been carrying. Because sensitivity without honesty can become noise. But sensitivity with awareness can become direction. Not every signal was a command. Not every feeling was a final answer. Not every warning was danger. Not every peace was permission. But every signal deserved to be noticed. That is what changed. Not the signal, your relationship to it. But here's where the exchange begins. Because there are many ways to read a signal. And in this exchange, we are not forcing one meaning. We are listening for the movement underneath all of them. Maybe Frequency 2 reached you as relief. Maybe you heard these episodes and something inside you said, finally, someone is naming what I feel around certain people. Finally, I do not have to call every body response an overreaction. Finally, I can admit that some places settle me and some places cost me. Maybe Frequency 2 reached you as grief, because realizing your signal mattered may have also made you realize how many times you ignored it. How many times you stayed after your body had already asked to leave. How many times you explained away someone's pattern because you did not want to believe what you were noticing. How many times you made yourself smaller so someone else would not have to face what your awareness could see. And if grief came up, that does not mean the frequency failed, because there are many ways to read a signal. And in this exchange, we are not forcing one meaning. We are listening for the movement underneath all of them. Maybe Frequency 2 reached you as relief. Maybe you heard these episodes and something inside you said, finally, someone is naming what I feel around certain people. Finally, I do not have to call every body response an overreaction. Finally, I can admit that some places settle me and some places cost me. Maybe Frequency 2 reached you as grief, because realizing your signal mattered may have also made you realize how many times you ignored it. How many times you stayed after your body had already asked to leave. How many times you explained away someone's pattern because you did not want to believe what you were noticing. How many times you made yourself smaller so someone else would not have to face what your awareness could see. And if grief came up, that does not mean the frequency failed, because frequency 2 was never here to make every feeling holy. It was here to help you listen without losing calibration, to honor the signal without letting fear become the only translator in the room. Maybe frequency 2 reached you as permission to stop pretending certain people do not drain you. Permission to admit that your body often knows before your mouth can explain. Permission to stop apologizing for needing peace. Permission to stop calling every internal warning a flaw. Permission to ask, what is this signal trying to show me? Not what do I want it to mean? Not what am I afraid it means? What is it trying to show me? Maybe frequency 2 reached you as responsibility, not the heavy kind, not the kind where you become responsible for everyone else's energy. Not the kind where you carry every room like a backpack full of bricks. The quiet kind. The kind that asks, now that I notice what certain people cost me, how do I move with more honesty? Now that I hear my internal signal, how do I test it without betraying it? Now that I recognize the difference between peace and performance, what choices can I no longer make the same way? None of those readings make you right. None of them make you wrong. They only show where the signal met you. The same frequency can meet different histories. The same words can unlock different doors. One person hears intuition, another hears anxiety, another hears trauma response, another hears discernment, another hears overthinking, another hears wisdom arriving before proof. That does not mean the signal changed. It means the signal entered different lives. And this matters, because Human Velocity X is not here to force one interpretation onto every listener. It is not here to tell you which reaction you are supposed to have. It is here to create a space where you can notice what is true inside your own system. Because the deepest measure of awareness is not whether someone else understood it. It is what it produces inside your life. A signal is not proven by how beautifully you explain it. It is proven by the fruit it produces. Did it help you stop mistaking peace for people-pleasing? Did it help you recognize safety without clinging to it? Did it help you recognize danger without worshiping fear? Did it help you listen to your body without making your body carry the whole courtroom? Did it help your next action be cleaner than your last reaction? Did it produce peace without making you passive? Did it produce strength without making you hard? Did it produce clarity without making you cruel? Because that is where the signal becomes real. Not in the explanation, in the fruit, in the movement, in the way your life begins to tell the truth without needing to announce it. That is the fruit test. Not perfection, not performance, not whether everyone understood you. Fruit. Because the fruit tells the truth, not the label, not the explanation, not the applause, not the approval, the fruit. And if the fruit was not good, that does not mean shame. It means calibration. It means pause. It means return. It means listen again. Because these episodes were never meant to be consumed once and left behind. They are places to return to. Rooms inside the larger house of your awareness. When certain people feel like home, return to resonance. Ask what your system is recognizing. Is it safety? Is it familiarity? Is it peace? Or is it old attachment wearing a softer voice? Listen, when your mind starts circling what your body already knows, return to the overthinking. Ask whether your thoughts are looking for truth or trying to avoid the cost of accepting it. Listen. When you sense danger before it arrives, return to the warning. Ask what pattern your body is reading. Ask what is present now. Ask what belongs to this moment and what belongs to an older wound. Listen. When being self-aware feels heavy, return to the cost. Ask what your awareness is asking you to stop carrying. Ask whether you're being called to speak, step back, slow down, or simply stop pretending you do not see what you see. Listen. These episodes are not steps you climb once. They are spaces you can come back to when a part of you needs strengthening. Not because you are weak, because awareness is alive, and living things need tending. One way to understand frequency 2 is through a compass. Not because you are a compass. Not because the metaphor has to work for everyone. Just as one lens. One way to read the signal. A compass does not walk the road for you. It does not remove the mountain. It does not clear the storm. It does not carry your bags. It simply points. Quietly, consistently, sometimes inconveniently. And if you ignore it long enough, You may still move. You may still cover distance. You may still look busy. But movement is not the same as direction. That matters. Because some of us spent years moving, working, explaining, adapting, performing, surviving, making peace where there was no peace, calling confusion commitment, calling exhaustion loyalty, calling self-abandonment love. We were moving, but not always in alignment. That is not failure. That is where calibration begins. The compass does not condemn you for getting lost. It simply keeps pointing. Again, again, again. This way, back to yourself, back to honesty, back to the signal beneath the noise. That is the movement between frequency 2 and frequency 3. Frequency 2 was not the whole journey. It was learning that something inside you knows direction. Frequency 3 is where that direction has to meet the world. Because once you recognize the signal, you still have to move through systems, families, workplaces, relationships, culture, expectations, roles, pressure, unspoken rules, rooms where everyone is performing and nobody wants to be the first one to tell the truth. That is where frequency 3 has to happen. Because signal without system awareness can leave you blaming yourself for pressure you did not create. It can make you think your discomfort is always personal, when sometimes your system is reacting to the structure around you. It can make you believe you are the problem, when really you are trying to stay alive inside a turn that keeps asking you to abandon yourself. Frequency 2 said, listen to the signal. Frequency 3 asks, what system is shaping the signal? And that question matters, because awareness without context can become confusion. You feel everything, sense everything, notice every shift, carry every room, read every person. And if awareness never learns to recognize systems, it can start blaming itself for whether it did not create. But awareness was never meant to trap you. It was meant to help you navigate. That is why the next frequency has to happen, because after signal comes system. After recognition comes navigation. After your awareness learns to listen inward, it has to learn how to move outward without seeing itself. Not perfectly, not loudly, not with everyone understanding you, but honestly, with enough clarity to know what is yours, what is theirs, and what belongs to the system you are standing in. And when the system gets loud, these questions matter. What is needed here? What is wanted here? And what is actually welcomed here? Not as rules to force, not as answers to perform, as questions to carry. Because sometimes the signal tells you what you feel, but the system shows you what the room can actually hold. So before we leave frequency 2, let's breathe with it one more time. Take a breath. In and out. Let your body remember. Your signal is not your enemy. Take another breath. In and out. Let your mind remember. You do not have to prove every signal before you are allowed to re-ECT it. Take one more breath. In and out. Let your heart remember what feels like home does not have to be chased. What costs your peace does not have to be worshipped. What arrives as warning does not have to be ignored. Now quietly recognize, I noticed, I listened, I tested the fruit. And now I can move through the system without abandoning the signal. That is the exchange. Not a goodbye to frequency. 2, a continuation, a turning, a quiet movement from signal into system. A thank you. Thank you to the people who felt like home and reminded your body peace was possible. Thank you to the overthinking that was trying to organize what truth had not fully explained yet. Thank you to the warning signs that arrived early and waited for your courage to catch up. Thank you to the cost that showed you where awareness was asking for honesty. Thank you to the body that kept telling the truth. Thank you to the mind that kept looking for language. Thank you to the heart that kept recognizing what mattered. Thank you to the signal that kept pointing back to alignment. And thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for being. You are a reasonaut. And your signal is not your enemy. It may be loud. It may be early. It may arrive before proof. It may speak through tension, ease, pressure, peace, friction, or the quiet sense that something is not aligned. But the goal was never to obey every signal blindly. The goal was to become honest enough to listen, clear enough to test it, and grounded enough to move. Frequency 2 helped us recognize the signal. Frequency 3 will help us recognize the system. Because once you know what your awareness is telling you, the next question becomes, what kind of world are you trying to move through? Next time, Frequency 3, navigating the system, dedicated to those who felt the truth before they had the words, who sensed the room before anyone explained it, who carried signals they were told to ignore and still found their way back to themselves. Every day is awesome. We just have to get through it.